Hello and welcome back to the D2 Destinations YouTube channel. I'm Den. If you haven't been here before, we do a lot of different videos, but today I wanted to talk about if you're going to start a YouTube channel, what camera should you be using? There's a lot of choices out there. You can use anything from your cell phone to the Pocket 3, which I'm filming on right now. The Pocket 3 is a great little camera for vlogging and even doing studio shoots like this. It has a fixed 20mm lens. However, the camera I started with is this one. This is the Canon M50 Mark II. And the lens that I have on here is the 28-70L lens with the Viltrox speed booster. So this also provides a wide enough angle to use in the studio. So what I'm going to do today is walk you through each of the lenses that's available to work with the Canon system. And if you're just starting out, the M50 Mark II is a great way to go. It is very inexpensive, and I've been a Canon shooter for a long time. Back to the film days. I've got a bunch of camera bodies behind me. I don't know if you can see those, but I've been shooting Canon a long time, so I have some lenses. And with the adapters, you can put them on the M50 Mark II, which you can get for less than $500. And it's a great starter camera for your YouTube channel. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to put the camera on the other tripod and show you the different lenses. Now, other than this 28-70L lens, which is one of Canon's professional lenses, we're going to start out with one of the best YouTube lenses there is. This is the Sigma 16mm. And the 16mm, this is a terrific coverage for tight offices like this one. The next up, I have the Canon, this is an EF-S lens. So if you put the adapter on, you can adapt it to the M50 Mark II. And this is an 18-135. Now the trouble with the 18-135 is it's a great all-around lens, but it is a 3.5 to 5.6 on the maximum f-stop. So it does give you tremendous zoom and great range, but as a studio camera, you have to keep it right out at the 18mm mark. And when compared to the Sigma 16mm, the 16mm, this lens is an extremely fast lens. It opens up to a 1.4 f-stop. So you'll see the difference in that. I'm going to put each of the lenses on in order. Starting with the 16, we're going to go to the 18-135, but then up from 18, this is the Viltrox 23. This is also an f1.4 lens. Lets in a lot of light, has great bokeh to it in comparison to this 18-135. And then, of course, beyond the 23 lens that we have from Viltrox is Canon's Nifty 50. Now, the Nifty 50 as well as the 28-70 lens, these are EF lenses, and therefore you can use the speed booster on the camera. So that makes it at a very, very close 50mm and very, very close to the 28mm. And I'll go through that for you, but you'll see the difference in each of these lenses. So which one is best if you're going to start your YouTube channel? Well, there's a lot of debate about that, but I just wanted to run through the different lenses. And what we'll do is we'll start with the 16mm and work our way up through the 50mm. The nice thing about the Canon M50 is it is an inexpensive camera that you can pick up for less than $500. And it does have the interchangeable lenses. Right now, we're going to get started and we're going to go through all of the lenses on the M50 so you can see the difference in the bokeh, etc. Again, right now, we're on the DJI Pocket 3. That has a 20mm fixed lens, so it is what it is. There's not a lot of bokeh to it, but there is some compared to like a GoPro or something like that. Okay, here we are. We're on the Sigma 16 millimeter. The 16 millimeter is the YouTube lens that a lot of the popular YouTubers have been using for years. And especially in a smaller studio space, this gives you great bokeh as well as coverage. So you'll see the difference in the different lenses that we put on here, but I'm not going to move the tripod. All I'm going to do is change the lenses on the M50 Mark II so you can see the difference between all of these lenses. And up next, we have the Viltrox 23. So with the Viltrox, you're going to see that it isn't nearly as wide as what you're seeing right now on the Sigma 16 millimeter. So from the 16 millimeter, let's switch over to Viltrox 23. Okay, here we are on the Viltrox 23. The Viltrox 23 with its 1.4 aperture is also a very nice studio lens. If you're going to be in a smaller office area, you can see this is a little tighter, but the bokeh in the background is also working very well with the 1.4 aperture. Okay, now that we've already covered the 16 millimeter, I wanted to let you know what that's equal to in full frame. The 16 millimeter in a full frame camera, that's equal to about 25.6. The 23 millimeter that we just used, that's equal to about 36.8 millimeter. And now we are on the Canon 28-70 with the speed booster. And here's the thing, on the speed booster, the 28 millimeters is equal to 31.8 or 32. So actually it's a little wider than the Viltrox 23 with the speed booster on here. If we don't use the speed booster, the 28 is then equal to 44. But right now, with the 28 millimeter on there and the speed booster from Viltrox, this is equal to 31.8, which I think in the studio setting, this works very well. This is one of Canon's L series lenses, which is considered one of the pro lenses. It's very high quality, and the zoom on it is tremendous. We can zoom it in right now, but it's going to be a little too much. If you just take the zoom ring and bring that in, you can see even in the studio setting, I can sit way back, but that gives you a range of working in the studio, whether it's a large studio or a small studio. Let's turn this back. Here we go. Okay, so that shows you the difference in working with an L lens. Next up, we are going to switch up to the Nifty 50. And wait until you see this lens. This is something special, and it's so small. This lens is so small that it's really a great travel lens for portraits and other things, because on the 50 mil, when we switch to this, okay, check this out. The 50 mil with the speed booster is equal to 56.8. That is tremendous. Now, if you use just the regular Viltrox adapter, your 50 millimeter then becomes an 80 mil. So you have an equivalent of 56.8 or 80. Technically, two different lenses just using the speed booster or the regular adapter. That's a great combination. So if you're just going to travel, take the two Viltrox adapters, the speed booster and the regular, and one lens, and you've got a really light package for traveling all over the place without lugging around this big 28-70 lens. All right, so let's switch over to the 50. Okay, as you can see, this is quite a bit tighter. This is with the speed booster. So this is at about the equivalent of 56.8. I'm going to lean back just a little bit so you can see there is a tremendous difference. When you're in a smaller studio, you probably don't want to shoot on a lens quite this tight, but that's totally up to you. But what I'm going to do now is show you the difference and just put this Nifty 50 on with the regular adapter. So let's do that, and that's going to pump it into like 80 millimeters, which is going to be way too tight. But for illustrative purposes, I want you to see how that reacts on just the regular Viltrox EF-S to EF-M adapter. As you can see, I have to even lean back just a little bit to get my head in the frame. This is equivalent to a basically 80mm portrait lens. So if you're going to be shooting on the Nifty 50 with the straight adapter from Viltrox, you want to make sure your tripod is quite a bit further back. Right now, I would say the tripod is about 4.5 feet from where I'm sitting, maybe 4 feet. And it's really too tight for this situation. So let's switch out to one of the wider angle lenses. Okay, we are back on the Viltrox 23. And the reason I wanted to put the Viltrox back on there is so that I could show you both the adapters from Viltrox. This is the regular adapter, and you can see there is no lens here. You can put your finger right through this. I don't know if you can see that for sure, but all this does is it makes your EF-S or EF lenses fit directly on the Canon M series. With this, you can fit this to any one of the EF-S or EF lenses from Canon, and then you can use the whole assortment of Canon's lenses on your M50. Now, the new R series cameras also have adapters just like this, so that if I decide to switch over to the R7, and leave it in the comments below, do you think I should switch over to an R7? We'll see. That would enable me to use the EF lenses on the RF system. These are specific to the M series, but the difference between these two is I wanted to show you the speed booster itself. It has a piece of glass inside of there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little different than the one without. This gives you a magnification of 0.71 off of the 1.6. So to do the calculations, if you want to do those yourself, putting an EF lens on an APS-C, you multiply by 1.6. That's the crop factor, and that's what you get with just the regular adapter. However, when you use the speed booster, you multiply the lens again by 1.6, but then you take that total and multiply that by 0.71, and that's what gives you the equivalence. So to recap on those equivalents real quick, if you have the Canon 50mm and you put this straight on an APS-C camera, that's going to be equal to 80mm, okay? However, if you mount it with the speed booster instead, then you're looking at 56.8. So much closer to the regular 50mm. Now the same applies for this big lens. We've got a 28-70 right here. So basically using the two different adapters with the regular adapter, that's going to be a 44.8 out to 112 using just the regular adapter. However, if I use the speed booster, that's going to be 31.8 to 79.5. So basically, with this one lens, you can go using the speed booster from 31.8 to the non-speed booster all the way out to a 112. So just using the two different adapters gives you even that much wider range in the lenses that you're using. And the same thing applies to the new RF system. So if you have an RF camera and you still want to use some of your older EF-S or EF lenses, all you need to do is buy the regular adapter or the speed booster, and you've got a whole new range of lenses. And that's one of the reasons why I'm considering switching over to the R7. It does have much better 4K video and focusing. The M50 Mark II is a great camera in 1080, but when you step up to the 4K video, it tends to lose its focusing ability. So we might take a look at that R7. But if you're looking for a great camera to start your YouTube venture, you really should look at the camera, the M50 Mark II, and the wide assortment of different lenses that you can have with this camera. It's just an amazing way to have the versatility of all of the different lenses. However, if you're just going to be a vlogger, and that's all you want to do, you don't want to do anything else, what I would recommend is check this out. I'm going to take this off of here right now and pull this out. This is the amazing little, there it is. This is the Pocket 3 by DJI. And this little camera, it can do a whole lot for the studio or for vlogging in particular. It is so light and so small. It's just amazing in the capability. And it works with a wireless microphone. You can see here I have a lavalier microphone. That's hooked up directly to the Mic 2, which is a totally wireless system, which attaches directly into this. And you don't have to have the lavalier. You can just wear the transmitter, and there's a built-in receiver right here in the Pocket 3. So it's just an amazing little camera. If all you're gonna do is vlogging and you don't want all the interchangeable lenses, this is a great way to start. So there you have it. I am considering the R7. If you think there's a better camera that I should switch over to, considering I already have 2 EF-S lenses and 2 EF lenses, you let me know. I've always considered maybe taking a look at Sony. With switching over to a new system like the Sony system, when I already have all of these lenses, it seems like that would be just a tremendous expense at this point. So I've had my YouTube channel for a couple of years now, and the Canon M50 Mark II has done extremely well for me. But I really like this new DJI Pocket 3, particularly for vlogging and just being able to stuff it in a small bag or even in your pocket, like it says on the name. But you don't have the interchangeable lenses, so all you have is the 20mm all the time. And I'll flip this video back and forth. But the difference between having the Pocket 3 and an interchangeable lens camera is when you're walking around the street and you want to reach something further, you're going to want a lens like this. This is the 55 to 250. So to give you an idea of the range for this lens, the 250 is 400mm in equivalent. So this lens on an APS-C camera is 88 to 400. The other lens that I have, the 18 to 135, that is a range of 28 to 216. So if you're going to go traveling, you can have 2 lenses and that's it to create a light package, and you have a range of 28.8 to 400 with just these 2 lenses. Pretty amazing. So given all the choices that you have, there's a multitude of lenses from the 23 that I'm shooting on, the wider 16, 18 to 135, 55 to 250, and of course the pro lens of 28 to 70. With the 2 different adapters, you even get a wider range on these from the APS-C or back down using the speed booster closer to the full frame equivalent. So there you have it. Those are all of the different lenses that I have that are adaptable to the Canon M50 Mark II. And like I said, I think it might be worth switching up to that R7. And but I'm always going to keep this little Pocket 3, that's for sure. And one other lens or camera that you may want to consider is the old GoPro. I've had this one for quite some time, but there's been a conversation about GoPro versus the new Action 4 or the new Action 5 that's coming out. So this thing has shut down on me several times. Just yesterday I was doing a shoot. We were out on a boat and it was only about 85 degrees, but it overheated And so I had to unscrew this, take it apart, pull the battery out, put the battery back in. Those of you who are shooting with GoPros, you know that routine, and it's very frustrating because it takes time to unscrew this and put it all back together. Reportedly, the new Action 4 does not do that. So I'm waiting for the Action 5 to come out, but one of the biggest advantages is it automatically hooks up to the Mic 2 from the DJI Pocket 3. So I have the little transmitter right here in my pocket. Maybe you see this. It has the lav wire on it, which comes up to this lavalier microphone. But this little transmitter right here will adapt directly to the Action 4, and hopefully the Action 5 will carry that over, of course. But as well as the DJI Pocket 3, it's just a tremendous portable, small, lightweight little microphone system to go with the small portability of the DJI Pocket 3. So the Action 4 has immediate compatibility, so I'm looking at one of those too. So let me know, hey, should I get a Canon R7? Should I get the new Action 5 when it comes out? And oh yeah, there's one more. You see this old bird back here? Yeah, you've seen that in some of my other videos. That's the DJI Phantom 4 Pro. Also looking at that DJI Mini 4 Pro drone. That's a spectacular drone, which is under 250 grams, so that you don't have to register it. You can just fit it in a small bag and take it with you. This thing has its big old backpack system that I have to take, and it's its own backpack rather than just a small little compartment of a backpack, similar to the size here we have of the DJI Pocket 3 bag. So there you have it. There's an assortment of lenses, the ones that I think that you should start out with. If you're going to start your YouTube channel, definitely the Sigma 16 or the Viltrox 23 with the Canon M50 Mark II. It'll keep you well under $1,000 to start off, and you're on your journey with interchangeable lenses. But if you don't want to step up that far yet, start with the DJI Pocket 3. You won't be disappointed. All right, guys. Pleasure talking with you. Let me know in the comments if you think I should switch over to the R7. And if you have any questions on the adapters or some of the lenses I've talked about here today, let me know. One last item that I will say about these adapters is you cannot use the speed booster with EF-S lenses unless you adapt and peel off this little plastic piece here. And I guess there's an adapter kit you can do that. But just know that if you're going to use the speed booster, it has to be an EF lens. It is not compatible with the EF-S lenses unless you do an adapter change right here, which is manipulating the lens configuration itself. So there you have it. A whole bunch of lenses, a couple cameras, a couple of ideas. Let me know. What do you think we should do? We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching. This is Den with D2 Destinations. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.